Hola, I'm Brady Larkin. Welcome back, or welcome to Footy with Friends, Football con Amigos. I'm coming at you today with a healthy dose of optimism. For the footy fans who just need their fix of games every weekend, I've got a suggestion for you. And for the folks who tuned into the Liverpool versus Manchester United derby and are struggling to make sense of how this could have ended 0-0, well, I've got a Larkin-on-Liverpool segment for you. Stick around to the end to find out how to live tweet with me during a game this weekend. All right, let's do it. Folks, this is a big week. We're going to have a new president this week. Our 46th president, Joe Biden, and VP Kamala Harris are getting sworn in on Wednesday. I'm really excited for this. This is a good moment for the U.S., and hopefully it'll be a fork in the road moment where the collective can start to shift and start to broaden our perspectives to be more open and more tolerant of other cultures, because that's the U.S. I want to live in and be a part of. And it's with this in mind that I want to pose a question to you all. What is the most watched soccer league in the United States? If you're thinking the Premier League, wrong. If you're thinking, oh, then it's Major League Soccer, the top league here in the States, wrong. The most watched soccer league in the United States is Liga MX, Liga MX, the top league in Mexico. Liga MX draws the third largest crowds in all of North American sports. So the league sits behind the NFL and Major League Baseball. And for me, baseball seems like it's dying, so who knows? The league could be number 2 very soon. Liga MX is also the 4th most attended soccer league in the world. Liga MX sits just behind the German Bundesliga, the English Premier League, and Spain's La Liga. So, folks, let's give Liga MX the respect it deserves. So this year, and by year I mean from August until now, so the soccer season, has been a big one for me trying to get into Liga MX. I tried to get to know the lay of the land, and while doing so, brush up on my Spanish. Now is a great time to get into it. So if you want to start following Mexican soccer, keep in mind you're not just diving in halfway through a season. They actually have 2 mini seasons, and they have playoffs and crown a champion twice a year. So the Apertura, which starts in the summer, is the opening tournament, and the Clausura, which starts now in the winter, is the closing tournament. So if you're thinking, wait, what? How's the league set up? Well, let me tell you. They have 18 teams, so they play a round robin, and after each team plays each other, the top 8 qualify for the playoffs, the Liguilla, the Little League. All year, it is action-packed. The soccer is fast, there's high pressing from most teams, and you're sure to see a few yellow cards and maybe even some reds each game. It's aggressive. There's attacking creativity and flair that you just don't see enough from even the Premier League and certainly the MLS. There's some players doing some things that is unexpected, and maybe it's for the highlights, and maybe it's for I don't know. Just growing up playing soccer in the States and watching soccer in the States coached by American coaches, it's just too much by the book, play in the system, do the safe thing, often passing instead of dribbling. It's often the opposite in Liga MX, where there is some really improvisational play, certainly in the attacking third. And like I said, it's aggressive. There's often a lot of animosity from home fans towards opposing teams. And you're even getting a bit of that without the fans there. I think the players have taken on that aspect quite a bit. So that's probably why there are still a few heated situations each game that's resulting in coaches going crazy or guys getting in the referee's face. Not that I condone that, but that's just the state of the game in Liga MX. So I think that maybe later this spring, the fans might be coming back in a safe manner. So that'll be interesting to keep a note on. And please, bear in mind, I'm not saying give up watching your Premier League games on the weekend or Bundesliga or whoever you may be following. Get your soccer fix on the weekend morning. I know I love my weekend routines when the games are going from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., but what I'm saying is come back. Come back in the evening for some primetime footy. So the games usually start from 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. So it'll be worth your time. It's way more entertaining than Major League Soccer. And for me, it's the best soccer here in North America. 100% worth your time. And like I said, I spent the majority of this past fall kicking back and watching all the Liga MX footy I could. I tried to watch all the teams at least once and choose which team I aligned with most. So I was looking for style of play, their team culture, special players, or maybe an influential coach. I was looking for it all, and if you want to do the same, you got to be aware of the Cuatro Grandes, so the big four. Going in, I knew I didn't want to be a bandwagoner, all right? I could rule out 4 teams right away. So America, Chivas, Cruz Azul, and Pumas. So these are the 4 most successful historically teams in the league. And Tigres, I'd throw in there too. At least over the past decade, they've been really consistent, and they're coming off of just winning the CONCACAF Champions League. So Tigres, they're a very good team. I respect them, but I'm out on supporting you. So there's 5 down that I just not choosing to support. So my team, and they're coming off of a big win this weekend over Tigres, 2-0, is Santos Laguna. So I'm going to keep you posted as best I can on all things Santos and Liga MX footy going forward. So please, get into it, footy friends. This is some really good soccer, and it's here in our backyard, and too many of us are overlooking it or just not aware. So get into Liga MX. And in the meantime, vamos Santos. And now into a recurring segment of the pod, Larkin-on-Liverpool. So the game yesterday, Liverpool versus Man United, it was being hyped up and billed as one of the most anticipated derbies in recent memory, certainly over the last decade. I mean, the 2 teams were top 2 in the league, and yes, it ended 0-0. So maybe a bit of the commentator's curse there. So let's start with the lineups. As predicted, I think, more or less, from Man United, this was their most dangerous starting 11. For Liverpool, I was happy to see Shaqiri in the lineup. It was pretty much as expected, with Shaqiri the one change over Curtis Jones in the midfield. Shaqiri is an interesting one because he's actually really effective when he's healthy. And again, like a lot of guys this year, he's just not healthy enough. Earlier this season, I remember watching him playing with Switzerland on international duty, and he was running the show in the midfield. So I would like to see him do that more for the Reds, and he did that quite a bit today. So maybe he's hitting a run of form and a streak of consistency, hopefully. So having Big Shaq in the lineup is nice. And I think there's something more to this. Shaqiri and Thiago started next to each other in the midfield today. And they actually have some roots going back to their days on Bayern Munich. So they played with each other from 2013 to 2015 in Germany. And I think that played a pretty big role as to their chemistry. They work really well together. Thiago often getting the ball a bit deeper, and Shaqiri just popping up in pockets behind. It was Fred and McTominay today. Like, just finding those spaces in front of the back four where he can get it, quick turn, and he's looking to spring in one of the front three. So it was a pretty cool combination. It was nice to see them work together. And overall, the Liverpool lineup, I'd say this might be our best 11 at the moment. You know, this is who we have that's healthy. I think there's a really good balance in this starting 11. You have Henderson playing center back alongside Fabinho, and this allows Hendo to just kind of hang back and not run as much as I know he loves to. I mean, he's got a sketchy history with plantar fasciitis in his heel, so I think this allows him some natural rest in the flow of the game. So not only could this be our best 11, but it's the most sustainable starting 11. And we have a crazy amount of games from now until the end of February. So this could be the starting lineup we rely on the most with Premier League. We got the FA Cup. We got Champions League coming back. So there's a lot of games coming thick and fast. And I know everyone's going to have to be relied on. But if we can have a foundation of this being our go-to starting 11, I think we'll be in a good spot. About the game today, it started fast. I was really impressed with really both teams, the way they came out. It wasn't perfect the first 10 minutes, but who cares? All 22 players were sharp. They were flying around. There was crisp passing on a wet surface. And like I said, Shaqiri and Thiago were working really well together, combining with each other and getting tight turns and finding their teammates out wide to create some chances. So I was really impressed. Again, both teams that first 10 minutes. And it wasn't until 15 minutes in, there was a natural stoppage when it seemed like the ball was deflated and they had to exchange it for a new one. So Nike, first of all, do better with the ball. But this was the first time when everyone could kind of catch their breath, again, after 15 minutes of high pressing and good transition play both ways. So it was good to see. One thing that stood out from a Liverpool perspective in the first half was Bobby Firmino. He seemed to be only trying the creative pass, the most difficult pass. He was still defending, which you have to do if you're on the field for the Reds. I mean, Klopp is asking all 10 outfield players to defend, which, fine, Firmino was doing that. But if you're only trying the creative pass and looking off Robbo on the overlap or Shaqiri just for a connect a 5-yard pass, please. But he's trying the cutback pass or the chip in behind or like the pass against the grain. It wasn't coming off enough, and that was pretty frustrating. And he was taking 3 touches when he could have played a 1-time or a 2-touch pass. So it slowed things down just a bit when it came to Firmino. Just a bit frustrating, and it carried over into the second half, which we'll touch on. United's best chance came just after 30 minutes, so we gave away a silly foul, and that's trouble when Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, whoever else could step up on the ball and hit a free kick from anywhere within 30 yards. That's trouble. In this case, Fernandes was inches away from pinging one in the upper 90. So I think we got left off the hook there. The last 5 minutes or so of the first half, more or less dragged on. There's a few offsides on both teams, so I think that was fatigue kicking in. So I think first half, Liverpool probably had the better of the play. Again, 0-0, but for me, the top performers of the first half were Shaqiri and Thiago, like we mentioned, but Robbo. I mean, these were the three making things happen. Robbo specifically, getting forward on the overlap, providing a couple services, and always tracking back. So he denied a good Martial and Rashford chance. So always good to see that, making impacts on both sides of the ball. The second half was more of the same in the first. The first 5 minutes of the second half was fantastic from Liverpool. Their counter-pressing was on point. So they won back possession at least 4 times in a row to sustain possession in the United half. They just couldn't make it count. And that's pretty much the story of the game. The lack of a final product when Mane and Salah are being defended really well, and there's always close cover to deny their shots, and Firmino was going through his own thing. So that creativity and spark of genius in the final third just wasn't there today. And that's been the story of our season so far, to be honest. Our half-court offense, if you will, needs some work. We do well on the fast break. So if we're thinking like basketball, basket to basket, goal to goal, that's where we thrive. In open space, and there's space to run into and hit a through ball into. But yeah, the half-court offense, when the opposing team has all 10 players within 40 yards of their own goal and they're compact, that's tough. And that's where we struggled today. Thiago tried playing that final pass a few times from deeper. That's probably why Shaqiri was playing today, because he can see those final passes. And I mean, he's a lefty. Gotta love the lefties. Yeah, it just wasn't coming off today. Wan-Bissaka on United. Gotta give a shout out to him because he shut down Mane, often deep in his own half. His 1v1 defending is next level. United's best chances came a little later in the second half. There was a overlap from Luke Shaw, who hit a cutback cross to Fernandez, and I think it resulted in a good save from Allison or a block from Hendo. Either way, we kind of got it out of danger, and that was most of it for United. There was a moment in the second half, last 10 minutes, that completely justified having Hendo and Fabinho at center back together. There was a break for Rashford going at speed on the dribble. It's Hendo and Fabinho, and there's maybe an overlap coming from Martial or Cavani. But this 2v2 summed it up. Fabinho and Hendo working together, 10 out of 10 execution to shut down Rashford on the break. And it gives Liverpool a different element. Just having, I mean, they're two center mids playing center back. So it's two more players on the field that are equally comfortable as Thiago and Wijnaldum, having the ball at their feet, dictating play. And if need be, they can carry the ball. They can dribble into midfield and create some numbers up situations. So it was really promising to see that partnership. And good job by Hendo. I haven't heard anything coming from him that indicates he's upset or not pleased with playing center back. So he's doing it for the team for sure, as you'd expect from the captain. But again, the game kind of petered off the last few minutes. It sort of had a false ending at the 88th minute. So Fernandez and Gino Wijnaldum got a little too hot. They were arguing at each other, and it resulted in Fernandez was like throwing a fit as he was being subbed off, and Wijnaldum actually got subbed off too before any disciplinary action could be enforced. And this was like a subtly great coaching moment. It's something we see a lot of the time in college. So before a player is issued a yellow card, you just talk to the ref. Hey, okay. If I sub him off, can I sub him off? Before you give him a yellow. And it's like, okay, yeah, let him cool down. So Fernandez and Wijnaldum were subbed off, and the funniest moment of the match was right then when there's a lot of commotion. Like, was there an action off camera that we didn't see? Who's getting the yellow? Immediately, the camera cuts. Who's standing at midfield, ready to sub on? James Milner. He's ready at a moment's notice. He must have just been hanging out with Klopp on the sideline. Immediately can strip off his training top, and Millie's ready to go in. He is so reliable. He could play all 11 positions and do it equally well. So it's really good to have a guy like Millie in the side. But hilarious when, like, if you don't know what to do, that's it. Millie will sub himself on, and he'll take care of the problem. So that's how it ended, 0-0, and it really begs a few more questions. Like, where are the goals going to come from for Liverpool? It's a few games in a row, no goals. Also, why are we bringing on Origi as an impact sub? All right, I know I went off on him a few episodes ago saying this is the end of Divock Origi, and I stand by that. He does a little better when coming on as a sub compared to when he's a starter. He's just not impactful enough. He won one corner kick by going 1v1 against Luke Shaw, but he doesn't excite me when you see him about to check in. Does he raise the level of the team? What weapon does he bring? What's his specialty? I have no idea. I'd much sooner play Taki Minamino. I can't wait until Diogo Jota is back. But in the meantime, free Taki. Let Taki play. He's going to high press. He's going to work. He's a player sort of like Shaqiri. He's good in tight spaces. He can create his own shot. I just don't think we're playing Taki enough. And the great thing is, we play Man United again a week from now. So they have a rematch. It's just how the FA Cup draw turned out. So Liverpool versus Man United in the FA Cup next Saturday. We'll see which team makes any changes, if they adjust their approach to the game. I think it's a game that both teams would like to win in a hope for getting some silverware this year. So my change would be start Minamino instead of Bobby Firmino and see where it goes. And quickly, as a life update, this past week was a birthday week for me. So I turned 29. I want to give thanks to my family, my friends, for your well wishes. I know quite a few of you are following along with the podcast, so I always appreciate you, and thanks again for the birthday wishes, folks. And the rest of the week, I believe there's a few midweek Premier League games, so those should be fun. They're coming thick and fast this time of year. I feel like they're trying to catch up on games with a few teams not having been able to play because of COVID outbreaks. So I have no idea how Aston Villa is going to play their games in hand. They're 3 games behind everyone else in the league. So good luck with that, Villa. And again, this weekend, Man United, Liverpool rematch in the FA Cup. I'll also be live tweeting a match from this weekend, which I'm going to announce which match on Twitter on Friday. So give it a follow at @footy_friends, and let's watch some footy together. on next week's episode, I'll be checking in with a college coach to see what the state of college footy is like these days. Until then, please subscribe, rate, review, wherever you listen to your podcast. Big love. Peace.